This is my pineapple tomato plant. It is about 4 feet high and about 7 or 8 feet wide. It has these types of leaves here. And here's the top of a branch right here. It looks like that, looking down on it. Now the stem in the plant, folks, is, the stem is green with maroon reddish ribs. And that is the plant itself, that color, and the branches. Alright, so let me see if I can find a blossom. Yeah, here's a blossom right here. That's what the blossom looks like. It's a real dainty yellow blossom. And here's a side view right here. Right there. If I can get it to focus, there we go. They don't open very much, the blossoms, but they have that almost like a throne, a crown, I guess. A crown design on the side of the blossom. So, and we've got quite a few pineapple tomatoes sitting on. I bet there's over a couple of hundred in there, folks. Now, if I dig down in here, if I can get in here, you see that right there? There we go. That is one that probably will be ready tomorrow, and it'll probably drop tomorrow. And remember, if you find any on the ground, that means they are ripe. Now, I saw one right there that has fallen off. That is ready to eat. Whereas, the others are green. Like that. There's a lot of green ones like that. And this plant is completely loaded, and there's quite a few blossoms on there. So what I am going to do is I am going to see if I can reach in and grab that one. Okay, so while I was in there standing on my head underneath that tomato plant, I found 5 total that were ready to eat. So I am going to have them. Probably that's what I'm going to have for my supper. It's just too hot to eat anything else. So 5 pineapple tomatoes the size of my thumbnail. That'll have to do tonight because I'm just too hot to eat. So, like I said, they're loaded. And the grasshoppers like these too, folks, and I'm not really sure. As you can see, the grasshoppers have been eating a few, not many. And again, it's only cosmetic. But the plant itself, the stem, is absolutely beautiful. The whole plant is beautiful. Now, that plant is huge. I've never had one that big. And that is one plant, folks. But let me show you something. See that wooden structure right there? Right there? That is one of my compost bins. So I'm pretty sure if you folks want to plant this big, you're going to have some pretty decent compost, because this plant loves it. So I've got this plant here that's a jungle in there, and right beside that on the ground is another tomatillo plant. There's another tomatillo plant. Over there's another tomatillo plant. There's 42 right in this probably 30-foot area. So, like I said, there's one of my compost bins right there. And I also have volunteer tomato plants. I have a ton of cherry volunteer tomato plants. You got small cherry tomatoes on it. No idea what they are, folks. No idea if they're something somebody brought over or something that I had and composted, and who knows how it got out there, but it is what it is. But there's the plant. I've even got, well, let me show you. I've even got a few tomato plants growing inside my woodshed, folks. Nice and dry in there, but they look like they're doing pretty well. Whether they will do anything this year, I do not know. But those are volunteer as well. Let me husk one of these. Let me show you what it looks like. So here we have it in 5 different stages. There is one that was picked right from the plant itself. It is much smaller than the rest of them. Now, the more yellow it gets, the more ripe it gets, the sweeter it becomes, and the larger it becomes. So you've got one that's green, still on the plant. Then you've got one, the next one right there, which is not ripe yet, but it's not green and it's a little bit bigger. It's not as sweet, but it is getting yellow, but it has some green in it still. Then you have the third one there, which is about the same size as the one on the left next to it, and that is getting riper. And then you have one that is almost ripe. This one was on the ground, folks. So it's edible and it's good. It's still going to be sweet. It is not going to be as sweet as that one there, but it's going to be sweet. It's going to be juicy. It's going to be tender. And that one right there in the center is going to be good enough for most people. And then you've got a real ripe one that is ready to eat. It's going to be juicy. It's going to be tender. It's going to be very, very sweet. And most people like it. Now, if you do not like tomatoes, they don't look like a tomato, not really. They don't taste anything like a tomato. They taste more of like a dessert than anything else. So that one right there is going to be really, really yummy. And that one is going to be yummy. And then, see, a little greener, and then really green. You don't want to eat them at that stage. They're just not going to taste good at all, folks. So there you have it. And the size, let me pick one up. Oops, where am I? Right there. There's the size compared to my fingers, okay? They're really good, folks. And again, you only have to plant them once and then leave them. Just leave them. They'll come up the next year and then they'll spread. You throw a handful out on your lawn and they're going to grow and they're going to spread. They are loaded with little pineapple tomatoes. And you plant them 1 year, forget about them, do not weed them out of the garden, and you are going to be treated with this very tasty dessert-like tomato that tastes like a fruit, and you're not going to be disappointed, folks, even if you don't like tomatoes. Okay, so there it is, and again, I've got 42 within a 30-foot area right here in my driveway, growing right on the dry gravel, hard packed gravel. I've got over 100 in my garden, and those were from 2 plants I planted years ago. Okay, so, and you can collect the seeds. If you're going to collect the seeds, wait until the tomato drops. Make sure it is ripe. Cut it in half. Squeeze the tomato, get the seeds out, and treat it like you would any other tomato that you collect the seeds from. Now, for those of you who are seed savers, you know exactly how to save tomato seeds. For those of you who do not, you're going to have to do some research. There are a few different ways to do that, and then you can save the seeds. I want to remind you that the seeds are very, very, very small. So that's why you plant them 1 year and then let some go to seed. Just leave them in the garden where they drop, and you'll have some next year. All right. Hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.